Well, it's official. Sony are officially dabbling with necromancy. It's been a few weeks since the announcement, but they're already trying to resurrect Concord. Yes, the same Concord that most people had forgotten about before it even got a chance to make an impression. Like a zombie rising from the grave, this forgotten project is being revived, and somehow Sony thinks that's a good idea. Spoiler alert, it's not. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Demon, and today we're talking about Sony's misguided attempt to bring Concord back to life, because apparently they didn't get the memo that some things are better left buried. For those of you who don't remember Concord, and trust me, you're not alone, it was one of those vague, buzzword-filled announcements about a live service game that was supposed to be Sony's big push into a new, multiplayer franchise. The problem? Nobody was asking for it. The original concept was dead on arrival, lacking the depth, innovation, or even the fan base needed to make it viable. But now, instead of cutting their losses, Sony seems determined to drag it back from the dead like some Frankenstein experiment that's doomed to fail. So why is this a bad idea? First off, the gaming landscape is already oversaturated with failed live service games. It's like every developer wants to be the next Fortnite or Destiny, but very few manage to pull it off. And what's worse, Sony is reviving a project that didn't even have the hype or excitement behind it the first time around. It feels like they're trying to cash in on a trend that's already lost its spark, hoping nostalgia, or worse, brand loyalty, will make it work. But this isn't a beloved classic like Twisted Metal or Crash Bandicoot. It's Concord, the game nobody wanted or needed in the first place. The reason these kinds of games are forever doomed to fail lies in a vicious circle the industry seems incapable of escaping. Games are now created with diversity, equity, and inclusion front and center, which sounds great on paper, but often leads to the inevitable failure of the product itself. Why? Because instead of focusing on gameplay, innovation, or what the actual audience wants, the priorities are elsewhere. When the game inevitably flops, the studios are forced to cut staff. But here's the catch. They can't fire certain people because the moment they do, there will be cries of bigot or sexist. So instead they fire the ones with real talent. The ones who might have actually made the game better. What's left are the loud voices who start blaming the gamers for not supporting the mess they created, screaming that the failure is because of toxic fandoms, not the game's lack of quality. And then, in an utterly predictable move, they go on to create yet another game, this time doubling down on the very things the gamers didn't want in the first place. It's a cycle of doom, and it's killing the industry. I'm Snake Demon, and this has been The Snake Pit. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where, let's face it, I won't read them.